Hi everybody, Mature Simmer here. So we're back here in Project Mercury Academy, and now we're going to do Lesson 6, Staying Alive. In this lesson, we will look at the environmental control system responsible for maintaining temperature, providing you with oxygen, an atmosphere where you can survive, and water. Doesn't sound challenging or scary at all. I wish. Alright, so we seem to just keep getting inserted into orbit right after separation. And that's kind of going on, and they're getting everything set. Alright. Hello, Player 1. Welcome to the Environmental Control System lesson. So I think we're rotating here. The Environmental Control System, ECS, has one primary job: to keep you alive in normal Earth-like conditions. This means providing oxygen, regulating temperature, as well as providing water and cleaning the air. Oxygen is supplied at 5.5 psi in the cabin and has two circuits, one through the cabin and one through the suit. At the launch pad, the cabin is filled with pure oxygen at 16 psi. This bleeds off by the atmospheric pressure during ascent. It can be monitored in the cabin pressure gauge. Temperature is regulated by coolers. The amount of equipment and the small scale of the capsule requires coolers to keep a set temperature. Temperature can be regulated by using selectors. They are located on a panel just below the hatch. Suit temperature can be controlled using the suit temperature selector. Cabin temperature can be regulated using the cabin temperature selector. There are two environmental circuits, one for the cabin and one for the suit. Air flows through these circuits, and each has systems to keep them fresh. Water is used as the coolant. Two heat exchangers, one for each circuit, is used to regulate temperature. Air is pushed through the cabin and the suit by three fan systems. One for the cabin and two for the suit, one primary and one backup. The backup fan will automatically start if the primary fan stops. We have two switches for controlling the fans. First, we have one for turning the cabin fan on and or off. If this is off, the cabin temperature will increase. Keep it norm. Then we have the switch for manual control of the suit circuit. You can choose between norm automatic, number 1 for primary fan, or number 2 for the backup fan. After atmospheric entry, the oxygen emergency mode will initiate. This will provide fresh oxygen through the snorkel at a fixed rate, and that bypasses the fans and heat exchangers. This will trigger an alarm that can be muted using the O2 emergency tone switch. All switches in this row can be used to mute alarms. You can check the amount of oxygen you have left by using the oxygen gauge. You have two oxygen tanks, one primary and one secondary. These are controlled automatically. If the cabin pressure is outside the normal range, below 5.5 psi, an alarm will sound. Again, you can silence alarms by the correct tone switch on the right side of the main panel. If you need it, in case of events like a fire, you can decompress the cabin from oxygen by pulling the decompress handle. Try this now. That doesn't sound like a good idea, but okay. The cabin pressure is rapidly decreasing and an alarm will sound. Silence it by setting the alarm to off. Check the cabin pressure gauge. It should now indicate the cabin pressure is low or 0. To stop the venting, push the decompress handle back in. Okay. And I assume now it'll do some stuff. You can repressurize the cabin by pulling the repress handle out until the cabin pressure is stable again at 5.5. When it's 5.5, push the handle back in. Note, this consumes a lot of oxygen. Remember to check your oxygen levels frequently. Alright. The far right panel lets you control the temperature. Let's see. When you are on the sunny side of the orbit, the temperature will increase, and at the dark side it will decrease. Use these in conjunction with the temperature gauge. Electric components produce heat too, so it is important to pay attention to the various indicators you have. It is vital to learn what the normal environmental control system ECS levels are to understand when something is wrong. Check the gauges frequently. Okay, so that's all that stuff. Let us go through all the nominal values each of the environmental control system related instruments and gauges should show. Cabin pressure should be around 5.5 psi. Cabin air temperature should be between 60 and 100. So let me just look here. All right, so I think, yeah, that's 50. So yeah, it's 50 at each one, so it's about 80 right now. The sensor temp should show between 100 and 150. The steam vent pressure should be between 45 and 100, so not near the top, but the middle or above would be good. Suit temperature should show between 60 and 80, or 100. I don't understand. It must, like, be doing something. Okay, so that's 90. The suit pressure should be between 4 and 6, so it's about 5. Cabin O2 should show 1.0, 100%. The primary and secondary oxygen will be consumed over time. If the primary O2 is depleted, the secondary O2 will start to be consumed. If the secondary O2 is getting low, be prepared to abort depending on mission time and objectives left. Good job. This was a quick introduction to the environmental control system. Feel free to check out Mercury Flight Manual for more details. This completes the lesson. All right, so we're progressing. So that was very quick. Let's see. Let me look and see. All right. I don't know if lesson 7 is short, but let's... Now this is going to be long because this is going to be the whole retrograde burn and splashdown. So I am going to wrap this current lesson up and just give it its own episode, which is kind of what my thought was going to be anyway. So if you've enjoyed this, haven't dropped a like, or are not a subscriber, please consider that, and I will see you next time.